What is up, YouTube? I'm Devon DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance Crew, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. I've had some people again ask me what the Renaissance Crew is. If you don't know, the Renaissance Crew is the subscription base. If you're subscribed to this channel, you are a part of the Renaissance Crew. And if you want to go ahead and join it, then click that little red button. But with that being said, it's time to get back into some Ricky Gervais reactions. It's been a minute. Truth is, I don't really upload a lot because of some stuff going on behind the scenes, so I'd have to ask you guys to forgive me for that. Also, the reason why I don't really... The reason why Ricky Gervais tends to get pushed back sometimes is because, as you guys know, with the current schedule I'm on, I'm pretty much doing videos twice a week, maybe. And I don't like doing reactions to the same thing back to back. Sometimes if it's blown out of proportions and there's so many requests for it that I'll do it, but I try not to take the react to the same thing constantly because I don't want this channel to become just dedicated to one thing. I like to try to be spontaneous and react to stuff that interests me. A lot of times it's just something random that'll pop up. I'm like, I think people would like to see a reaction to this. So I'll go ahead and mark it off, and then later on I'll do a reaction to it. That's also another reason why I haven't tackled another series. Some people want me to react to stuff like Whose Line Is It Anyway, and other sitcoms and shows. The reason why I haven't tackled is because right now I'm currently doing Ricky Gervais show, and I'm doing the Idiot Abroad show, and I don't want to have a bunch of shows at once because these are things that are very long-term based, and I don't want to have just a bunch of videos where every time I upload it's like I said, you know what video I'm going to be reacting to every single time I do it. So ask that you guys just hold on and give me a chance to, have some freedom a bit before I get back into the things that you guys are expecting. Now, with that being said, this is Ricky Gervais show, season 2, episode 7, nightclub. Sounds interesting. I'm dying to hear what Karl Pilkington has to say about nightclubs. What is his interest? What does he like to do? Let's go ahead and check it out, see what it has to offer. And of course, this video was uploaded by Tianshu Li, my go-to channel for Ricky Gervais show reactions. Let's check it out. This is a bit of a different intro.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Karl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right? Hello and
Karl's
welcome to the
microphone
Ricky
is
Gervais
so high
show
up.
with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant. Hello. And the little round-headed buffoon that is Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Karl, as you're aware, you've obviously got many celebrity fans, and you've also got a new fan, Warwick Davis, who is the short actor that many people will see in films like Return of the Jedi. He also is in Harry Potter. He's 3'6", and Ricky and I worked with him recently. And far from asking us about the many celebrity names that we've worked with, the only person he was interested in talking about, of course, Mr. K. Pilkington.
He wanted to meet you, Karl.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop it right now. Don't let Karl meet this person. Do not let Karl meet him. Karl already has an obsession with people with abnormal body structures and things like that. Don't let him meet him. I don't think I just think he'll end up saying something that's he shouldn't have said that, Karl. Karl gonna get his ass whooped by a little person.
Well, is he all right to get on with?
Why wouldn't he be?
Just because sometimes when people aren't normal, it's just...
Sorry?
No, I just mean when someone, I've met a few little people in my time. The one that I met a little fella once, and he was all right. He got drunk really quick, but he was all right. But it took me by surprise, only because, like I've said about when I met Steve for the first time, it's only that same thing. And then if I lived with the little fella, I'm sure we'd get on a storm.
What do you mean when you met
There's
Steve?
a TV show waiting to happen.
Things wear off. That's like the world, isn't it? And it's the same with the little fella you're talking about. First time I see him, I'd be a little bit like, oh, what do you say? Whereas once you get to know him, I'm sure he'd be a lovely little fella.
I don't know where to start, Steve.
But Warwick asks, really, what are your thoughts on short people, particularly in entertainment? Because, of course, they've, throughout the ages, made an appearance, particularly in fiction. Tom Thumb, of course, the Oompa Loompas.
What do I think of them?
He's just wondering, I suppose, what your take is.
They're all right. I mean, when I was on jury duty, every day I'd sort of see one pop in, and he'd be sort of struggling getting on the chair. And he sort of, he wasn't struggling in a way that he felt uncomfortable. He'd obviously climbed a lot of chairs in his time, and this was just another one. And watching him, it just makes you think. You go, I should appreciate that I don't have that problem every time I have to sit down and what have you. But I don't think it's that bad. If I had to pick being really tall or really small, I'd go for the really small one because, the world's a more interesting place for him, isn't it? Everything's bigger. Do you know what I mean? We go to New York and go, wow.
I didn't expect Karl to say something profound.
Do you know what I mean? Everything's a lot bigger. Everything's more amazing. Food portions. Everything's a bonus. So out of the two, I'd be small, and maybe that's what I'd chat to Warwick about for a bit, just to get to know him.
Brilliant.
It's a shame in a way that he's not been able to pop in. I'd like to hear that conversation.
But I've got, speaking of like weird stuff and that, I've got a new...
Well, we weren't, but go on.
No, got a new book. Do you know I had that Freaks book? Top 50 Freaks. Got a new one sent to me.
Really?
Yeah, and do you know like everything normally has a name? So like if it's the two-headed fella, they're all nicknames like that, aren't they?
They've got two nicknames, I imagine.
But this new book I've got, right, on the cover of this one, it's got like a woman with 3 breasts, right?
Oh,
and she's
am I gonna have to censor
the
that?
3-breasted woman, as you'd expect. The one face.
Why is she posing nude though? That's what I want to know.
Tart.
Well, she looked happy. And there was a fella with like one face but 2 bodies.
In one face.
I saw that Samuel L. Jackson guy. Is that a callback to one of the previous shows? I remember them talking about that before.
The 2 bodies.
Like one face but 2 bodies.
In one face but 2 bodies.
One face, 2 bodies.
What do you mean one face, 2 bodies?
Surely one head, 2 bodies.
Ed as well, but it was mainly the face. That was weird because he looked fed up.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Without a head?
How can you have... What do you mean? How did it join to the neck?
No, it did have a head, but the fact is, it was weird that it had one face to me.
What do you mean?
Well,
if you've got one head, you'll have one face.
Yeah, I know, but it was the fact that he had one face and 2 bodies that I didn't think.
But why do you keep saying one face?
Just
and 2
describe
bodies?
how they're
Why
connected.
One head and 2 bodies. We're all the man with one face.
Yeah, but now I've got one body.
Yeah, well, surely he's the man with 2 bodies then. Again, the description.
Roll up, see the man with one face.
Yeah.
So it's full of stuff like that, right? And what I'm saying is, that fella, the one-faced man, the 3-breasted woman...
He wouldn't be known as the one-faced man, is what I'm saying.
Well,
that isn't the peculiar thing about him.
Well, they all had names like that.
Right.
But there was one thing in it that didn't even have a nickname. It was so weird.
What do you mean?
It just said unidentified.
What does it look like?
Sort of testicles for eyes. That's. It just reminded me when you.
What do you mean
strange.
testicles for?
Bullocks. Get it? Bull looks. I'll see my way out.
Eyes.
And what is it? Did he have a normal body?
I didn't even look at that.
Oh,
No,
so
that's what I'm saying though. You're attracted to the oddness of the thing, and that's what I was saying about Warren when he walks in.
Warwick.
It'll be odd for a minute, and then I'm sure
For him it will be. Yeah.
He'll get used to you.
I've got my head around it a bit more, and the way that there's loads of people in the world, and yet you don't see people with like dangly eyes more often. It amazes me.
I love the fact that he's amazed by not seeing freaks.
Yeah.
It's incredible. He's walking down the street going, oh, everyone's got one head. It's weird.
Suzanne, see any dangly eyes today? No, me neither.
It's weird, isn't it? What's going on in the world?
Went out the other night with the lads. There's a few of us, young, free and single.
Must look like the Swingers.
Oh, it was pretty. It looked like a boy band had gone out. It looked like
Really?
It looked like NSYNC had hit the streets. Yeah. A friend of mine said, "Let's go to a club." Right, I haven't been to a nightclub for a long time, actually. I haven't been...
Is that because your glasses steam up when you walk in out of the cold?
That is a problem in the winter. I genuinely, it's very difficult to make a good impression when as you walk in, your glasses steam up straight away, and you got to take them off and clean them and stuff, and then you get a bit.
On your wife fronts, you pull your wife fronts up through the jeans, clean them on that,
or the back of a girl's dress. But we cruised down to the club. It's one of those big sort of London super clubs, and it's a bit of a queue. I think it's a bit of a chore. But we're queuing up, we're in good spirits, we're looking at it, it sounds pretty funky, we can hear the music coming out. Been in the queue for quite a while, 20, 25 minutes.
Forget it, 25 minutes.
Well, yeah, we were pretty excited by this point. The doorman says, hello lads. I said, yeah, we're coming please. He went, no you're not.
Really?
What? He said, you're not coming in. And he just immediately lifted the little rope and sent us away from the queue.
Tell him you're Stephen Merchant. And we were slightly
perplexed, we were dumbfounded. We didn't know what to do. It was like, this couldn't be happening, it didn't make sense.
I was in Logan, goddammit.
What was going on? And so my friend said, well, we got to find out why he's not going to let us in. So he goes back over.
I thought what you wanted to do. You wanted to tie him up with logic. That'll show a bouncer.
Exactly.
Yeah, show him how educated you are and how you can win an argument and make him look stupid. You'll be in that club in no time.
That's what they appreciate. They love that. Because what they respect is being made to look like a fool.
Exactly.
So we went over and...
They really look up to intellectuals.
Exactly, yeah. So one of our mates goes over and he says, why didn't you let us in? And he went, because you didn't have any girls with you.
No. Gotta keep the ratio even.
I'll tell you this. That's kicking you when you're down. Because when you're out on a Saturday night trying to get into a club to meet women, and the reason you're not allowed to go in a club to meet women is because you haven't got any women with you, that's just salt in the wound. It's so humiliating. So, a friend of mine says that there's a VIP entrance over there. There was like a woman with a clipboard, the guest list. Separate entrance. She said, you've got a little bit of profile, Steve. Why don't we try and use your...
You ran home, got your Golden Globe and your Emmy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always carry, some of my cuttings with me.
Yeah.
And I felt a bit self-conscious about that. I was thinking, I'm not into this, it's a bit awkward. But he said, look, don't worry, you just stand here. Just stand here, just like you're having a conversation. I'll go over, I'll point him out, I'll go, there's Steve Merchant over there, at the office. Or whatever.
Oh, God, Steve!
So I thought, well, the thing is, we were out, and I was a bit frustrated, and I thought, we may as well try everything. So I stand there.
Whistling.
My friend goes over and he has a word, and he comes back and he says, it's fine. She can't let us in the VIP entrance because she's not allowed, but what she can do is walk us to the front of the queue, right? You can walk to the front of the queue and explain. So I think, okay, fine.
Oh, God.
So we walk past everyone else, right, to the front of the queue, right? She goes up to the guy, she says, this is Steve Merchant office. The guy goes, I know who he is. We're not that By now, of course, some people have recognised me, so they're trying to have my photo taken. So there's people inside the line that's being allowed in the club. I've got to lean across the rope to have my photo taken with them, even though I'm not allowed in the club. So they go, oh, all right, this is Steve, they're having the photos taken, right, camera phones and that. They're going into the club where the music is kicking off. I'm outside
taking
waiting
pictures
for the
of him.
next chump who wants to have his photo taken. I mean, it was mental. So,
that's unbelievable.
I was furious. I remember he was trying, and he goes, oh, yeah, brilliant, I love the podcast and all that stuff. I love Carl. Is Karl with you? I said, oh, Carl's not out here.
Oh, God.
And his girlfriend, she went, who's that? And he went, oh, it's just Steve Merchant, he does the office, he does thing. And she went, who cares? Who are you, Bruce Forsyth? And it's that thing when suddenly I'm being humiliated and embarrassed by someone's girlfriend. I never asked for that. I never asked for her opinion on me. I'm sorry if I don't impress you, if I'm not sufficiently famous for you, but it's not my fault. It's your girlfriend who brought it up. It was like I'd gone over to her and tried to show off, and she was annoyed. So by now I was just furious. So I thought, forget this.
Well, I was walking down the street, and there's a group of builders sitting down having a cup of tea. One of them goes,
they whistling at you?
I went, all right, mate. The other one went,
cat calling.
Not as fat as on telly. I went, oh, thanks. Not as fat as on telly. So he went with, well, you are fat, but you look even fatter on telly. He didn't say, oh, God, you don't look fat at all, or, oh, you look big on telly, but you don't look fat. Just went with, not as fat as on telly. And there's nothing I could say, but cheers, mate.
Now, when you said cheers, mate, did you say that because you were... Because I'd say cheers, mate, because I'd be a little bit scared of them.
No, I was
I'd be worried about
like
the repercussions.
sarcasm, and I laughed after. Yeah.
See, you can get away with sarcasm with working class blokes.
I'm a little bit more secure with a working class male than you, aren't I?
I'm terrified of them. I feel like they're going to turn on me at any minute.
You don't feel confident sort of backing in a lorry driver?
Terrified.
Oh, right.
Because if I did, he'd probably lean out and just go and get your dad, mate.
Yeah, not you.
Fuck off, I'm not interested.
Not you. Yeah. Oh, he's only gonna read it down.
That jingle there signifying, of course, once again, another reading from the Diary of Karl Pilkington. Now, of course, for those of you who have not been keeping abreast of Karl's medical complaints, just bring us up to speed, Karl. You had to go into hospital because previously you'd had
I've been
treatment.
in and out, honestly. I've been in and out of that hospital just with kidney problems, really painful and what have you. And
He had kidney stones, all right?
No, but seriously.
I had a bit of a lie-in today because I have to get up early for my operation tomorrow. Not only have I got to have tubes shoved up my knob, but I also have to get up at 5:50. Suzanne said I could have what I want for my last dinner. It's not your last dinner, you're going for operation.
Yeah, but
He's
you,
about to go
you
to
can't
the
take
damn
things for granted
electric
these days.
chair.
I had shepherd's pie and peas. Suzanne made it from scratch. As nice as it was annoying. Because making stuff from scratch means loads of pots, and it's my job to do the washing up. So much as the food was nice, there was loads of pans and that. People who get their last dinner on death row don't have to wash up. Got up at 5:55.
Nice observation, Karl. That's a nice observation.
You were supposed to be getting up at 5:50 on the other page. You were 5 minutes late getting up.
He's often late.
Often late. Got to the hospital and had to wait in the waiting room. There was another 9 people in there waiting to be sorted. I got called in. They sat me on a bed and took all my details down. 5 minutes later, I'd been knocked out. I got woke up when they were ripping a pipe out of my throat.
Oh.
I felt more rough this time. The doctor came to see me and said he couldn't find a stone, so I must have passed it. I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah, we filled your kidney with water and expanded it, and there was no hiding place." I sat in the recovery room for an hour while they found me a bed. One of the fellows who was sat in the room with me this morning got wheeled in. They couldn't wake him up. All the nurses were laughing because he didn't want to wake up. I bet they were laughing at me when I was in the theatre. Someone told me they totally strip you when they're operating. I would have looked like the alien on the Boswell incident.
Boswell! Boswell!
It's quite a nice analogy if it weren't for the fact that you said Boswell.
It's
The Roswell incident. Didn't sleep much through the night because there was a 60-year-old fella shouting at the nurse about his pillows. I don't think I slept through a full hour with one thing or another
That's
going
your
on.
future, Karl.
My bed was next to the toilet, so I kept hearing the flush.
How do they sleep in hospitals, though? They wake you up to give you fucking sleeping pills and things, don't they? How do you sleep in there?
I don't know what it is. There's no air. There was an old fella across from me who kept breaking wind. He didn't even try
Oh,
and cover
boy.
it. He was just of that age where he didn't care. Just like, that's what I do. I'm in the hospital, leave me alone.
What do you mean?
Just, I don't know what was wrong with him. I talked to him because at first I felt sorry for him.
Yeah, I can't handle people breaking wind around me. It's almost like I envision it as like a physical thing in the room, and I'm just trying to get away from it. Like, no, don't. Like, I hate when people do that stuff around me. It's so freaking annoying.
Just, I don't know what was wrong with him. I talked to him because at first I felt sorry for him. I was a little bit like, you know, he's had no visitors. No one's calling him up, so I'll talk to him. But then he got that familiar with me that he'd just be doing it whilst I'm chatting to him. Just like he's my granddad or something. It's just like, oh, that's what he does. It's like, well, I'm ill as well. Stop doing that. Honestly, unbelievable. He didn't even try and cover it with a cough. It was just like...
With a cough? How would you cover it with a cough?
Just non-stop.
Got home and sat down. My pains are coming back, but the doctor said this would happen and that my insides are still in shock, so I need to take it easy. It's 9 o'clock. I'm in agony. I can't do the diary for the rest of the day. Jesus. So you may as well just tell us then what happened.
Suzanne just got frustrated with me because I was rolling about on the floor and she was trying to watch Arthur. Right? So that was on the other night.
I thought it was with your lodger.
So,
And she said, look, if you're in pain, do something. She said, you know...
You went and got a cold plate.
Yeah.
No, use an
For a
ashtray.
stomach.
Plates are for liver damage.
Got in a taxi. He filled up on the way, which was annoying.
He did it.
That
He
is
did.
cheeky.
That really... I mean, he could
On
see
the
us
way
in-
to the hospital.
So,
Because he's not an ambulance driver.
so anyway, he gets us there and he doesn't charge us, which is pretty decent.
That's all right, yeah.
So this gay fella came through.
How
And,
do you know he was gay?
just the way he was. I'm not
He
having
came
a
in
go.
kissing the
He was a
man, that's how
good
you know.
fella. Do you know what I mean?
A
He's-
doctor, you mean?
No, he was a nurse.
Right.
And he came through and just sort of went, "Oh, how are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I've had better days." So he got
As
me
you
on
mentioned in the diary, I remember the first time when I came here, they said the nurse might put a tablet up my arse. I thought the chances of that happening had just increased.
Oh, Carl!
Yeah, but I would have let him do it. Honestly, I was that sort of out of it. That,
Of course you'd let him do it. He's a qualified nurse.
No, but the way I am now, say if it was just a tablet for sorting out my blood pressure, and I walked in there and he went, "Oh, hello," and he said, "Yeah, let's pop that." I'd go, "Hang on a minute." But what I mean is that night, I would have just let him put 3 up, honestly.
I think I have my
It's weird,
thumbnail.
isn't it, how your body just goes, let him get on with it, and you trust anyone, don't you? When you're in that much pain and you need
And
help.
they're a qualified nurse, yes. Karl, of course, has written a poem about the experience entitled My Ward.
All I've done here, I've been through I don't know what the word is, a bad experience.
Trauma.
A trauma, yeah, I've been through a load of trauma. So I'm just finishing it off with a little sort of picture for people.
Go on then.
Me, a Chinese fella, and an old bloke who looked like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Don't know what was wrong with him, but breaking wind was the symptoms. No one visited him or called him. He seemed quite lost to me. As well as wind problems, he had a colostomy. When I left, I said, "See you" to the old man. Turned out the other fella wasn't Chinese. He was from Japan. I never found out what was up with him. You've got a little picture there, haven't you, of me sat in my ward. I'm sat there with that
Karl is
fella
a comic
who I didn't
genius.
talk to, the old fella who had wind problems. And that's what a poem is, isn't it?
But the detail about you thought he was Chinese and he turned out to be Japanese, how is that evocative? That's just a piece of misinformation.
It's just
I like it.
I imagine a lot of people make
I
the
like
same
it because
mistake.
you know why? It's like he even makes digressions within his poem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Don't
mean?
question it,
It's
Steve.
like he could have gone back and erased that, but he didn't. He left that digression in, and I think that's
You don't question
that's great.
genius.
To be honest, had a late night last night because I stayed up to watch a programme about monkeys.
It's already good.
Of course he did.
It's already good.
Now, before I read on, I mean, is this not some kind of monkey news? Is this not a late return to monkey news?
Well, it's not that good.
Is it not? Whereas the other monkey news is...
Oh, chimpanzee, that is some more shit.
That's what he says. This is what he gleaned from the programme about monkeys. It sat on a bridge and wanted stuff off people to walk over the bridge.
What?
So it was acting as some kind of toll booth,
This
was
is
it?
ridiculous.
No, it was a bridge in like the jungle.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
And it's a monkey that sat on a bridge, and a lot of tourists go through the area.
No, it's a monkey
to look at them.
who realised that if he sits there, he'll get stuff because it look like it's a cute little chimp begging.
No, but every time.
Yeah, because you give a monkey, I'm as bad as him now. If you give a chimpanzee a banana, and he starts realising that humans have things to give.
Yeah, but it's all
Squirrels
sorts of
learn
stuff.
that. But you don't go, you wouldn't say, went to the park, there's squirrels waiting at the gate. You have to give them a toll to go in. They're going to give them a nuts. They come up to you every time. You fucking idiot.
Went to bed after watching...
To be fair, some animals, there's a reason why they say not to feed animals. One thing is because they start to get familiar with humans and stuff, but another reason is because if you give something food and the person behind you give them food and it keeps happening, one day when someone shows up without food, the animal's going to be pissed and it could possibly attack. So that's just how animals work. It's very possible there could have been a monkey sitting around getting treats from visitors and guests and will attack somebody if it doesn't. Who knows? Depends on the personality of the animal.
and fell asleep thinking about it on the bridge right now. It's a bit bad, really, because the monkey should work harder for its food. It made me remember the slug I saw yesterday that was eating bird poo. Nobody would ever help a slug with food like they do with ducks and monkeys. A slug's life is pretty bad. The only time they come out of their den is when it's raining.
Den.
So even their days out are depressing.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
It is like, it's a horrible thing to be, innit? A slug.
I haven't seen a slug in years now. that I
Talking
think
about
about it.
what is it like to be a slug?
No, just because like the monkey, even though it's been quite aggressive, everyone was like, "Oh, give it some water," and it was well like kitted out. It had like chocolate bars, bottled water, some like fizzy stuff, and all that.
An iPod, it was listening to Monkey News.
He could have had one if he wanted one. It was getting away with murder on that bridge. And that's just because it was furry. Yeah, if that was like a blob, like a slug, there's no way people would be that friendly towards it. And it just annoys me how you get this pecking order for, like, no matter what creature you are, favouritism. And that slug was only eating that bird poo because it wasn't being offered stuff.
If it was offered toffees or whatever.
Well, it's just sad, isn't it? It's come to that. That's what its life has come to.
Yeah, but it's not a mollusk that's down on its fucking luck.
It didn't live in a big country house,
No,
and its
but
wife
it
left
is.
it. The
I
kids
was
went. It
I
started
was
hitting.
watching it, and I kind of thought, and look, they do only come out in the rain, and it's depressing, and it'll probably get killed in a bit. And that was its last meal. I just
Last meal.
But
people
it wouldn't
don't care.
prefer steak and chips, Carl. It
No, but
doesn't
a leaf,
have.
It must like a leaf or you know. At the end of the day, it's an insect. They
Leaves
love it.
are all
not an
over the place,
insect.
right?
Well, it's part of that gang. It's part of that.
They hang out together. They hang out together.
Why do you think it's part of that
Because it
gang?
knocks about in the woods in the same place as a spider does. But what I'm saying is they're eating boring stuff because that is what's
It's
in
not
their
boring
area.
stuff to them. They're not. I have no opinion of it at all. They take in sustenance.
No, but where you are is what you eat. When I'm in London, I'll have beans on toast for lunch. On holiday, what? Tapas? Go on, I'll have a bit. So it's whatever you eat, what's in that area.
Suzanne went off to work and I went to the shop to buy some envelopes. The shop was empty, but the fella behind the counter was on the phone and just kept talking even though he could see I was waiting. I started to count backwards from 20. When I got to 6, he hung up and served me. I won't use the shop again. Question, why count backwards from 20?
So he's thinking, what's going to happen at 1? If I start counting from 1, he's going, well, let him carry on.
What, out loud?
So, not really. Like,
Oh, Carl's a badass. Didn't expect that. He just started counting backwards. Oh man, that's a badass move. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good one.
1. If I start counting from 1, he's going, well, let him carry on.
What, out loud?
So, not really loud, but like more of a mouth action, so he could see who was doing it. Do you know, like
Sorry, you just started miming counting backwards to a man in a shop.
He's on the phone. The shop
Yes.
is empty. I
Yes.
thought he'd like me custom. He could have served me and stay on the phone. Even though I don't like that, at least he's still doing what he needs to do.
I'd have said,
working a
sorry,
shop.
can I just get these, please?
Yeah. Well, I stood there and I thought, it's annoying me now. My kidneys aching, and I started to get a bit of a sweat on. So I thought, right, I'm going to give him 20 seconds, and if he hasn't got off the phone, I'm leaving.
You are
giving
one of the
yourself.
strangest people.
It's just giving yourself a thing. I
Carl's
could have been
a
stood there
badass.
for
Free.
ages.
He's one of the strangest people who's free to walk.
Yeah.
It's
the
about
streets.
no. I set myself a little target, and I thought I don't want to waste another 30 seconds in here. I'll give him 20. It worked. He served me at 6.
But it didn't work. Yeah, but did he do it because you were doing that, or did he finish his phone call?
I don't know. I was busy counting.
Oh, that is a good story by Karl right there. Also, another good story by Steve. Steve has been in the zone recently. It's like the third story he's told that's actually been like really funny. He hasn't told any stories before. I never really got too much from him. I know people say that he talks a lot more in the actual radio show. These animated versions of the podcast are kind of, I want to say abbreviated, summarized. So you tend to miss stuff that was on the actual show. It's kind of like the Joe Budden podcast. But yeah, I mean, the stories that he's been telling so far on the animated show have been hilarious. I look forward to seeing more of this, so be sure to be on the lookout. I try to get these about once a week. Sometimes it depends. Like if I'm not uploading very frequently, then sometimes it'll be a little bit longer. Like usually there's like, it's either a week in between uploads or an upload every 3 uploads. So if like the second upload is longer than a week, then the third one is going to be the one where the Ricky Gervais show tends to come out or something. Also, I want to go ahead and make just a real quick announcement. I'm going to try to go ahead and get a decent upload schedule. Not necessarily on a specific day because I can't really guarantee that I'll have something out on a specific day. But I can try to get something out on a specific time. So I'm going to have my time from now on be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, or Eastern Time or whatever it's called. I always knew it as Eastern Standard, so that's what I call it. So if there's a video coming out, it'll be coming out at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If it's past 3 p.m., then that means that there's not going to be a video coming out during that day. Stay tuned and be on the lookout for any type of notification I might give, whether it's on YouTube or Twitter. Like if something does happen, I will notify you guys to let you know that a video will be coming out later than usual, or maybe it'll be coming out earlier than usual. But I'm gonna try to get everything taken care of so that they come out at 3 p.m. So with that being said, I just want to let you guys know that I am Devon DaVinci. You've just been a little bit more enlightened. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And like I said, be sure to check out Tianshu Li, Tianshu Li's channel. They have a bunch of other shows, sitcoms, and things like that on their channel that you can check out. Ricky Gervais show is just one of them. And like I said, YouTube has Ricky Gervais show on their service. If you want to go and check that out, you can just type in the Ricky Gervais show and it should pop up on the side. I believe you can either buy the season bundle or you can rent, maybe. I don't know if you can rent though. I know you can buy it for sure. And you can get the high definition versions of all these shows. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move on. I got a little bit of an idiot to catch up with, and I look forward to seeing you guys on a future video. Deuces.